Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining the Entrepreneurial Stories podcast. My name is Toni, and when I am not hosting this podcast, you can catch me at Linda Miller State Farm Insurance, where we take a holistic approach to protecting everything that's important to you. Today, we're going to be speaking with Jenna Smith. She is the founder and managing partner of Commonwealth Omaha, also CEO of Think Free. Really excited to unload what she's been doing with the community and helping individuals like yourself to get that idea out of their brain and into life. Jenna, before you tell us about where you're at right now, love to hear a little bit about your origin story. Can you go back? Tell us what had this dream brewed?
Thank you for having me today. My origin story is really that I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. Okay. So I was raised to know that I would always be an entrepreneur and how to think like an entrepreneur. Okay. And always raised to understand the value of having a community of people. So I went into corporate America with that entrepreneurial spirit and basically was an entrepreneur inside organizations for a really long time. Okay. So I got to start new teams, new departments, new processes, you name it. Okay. And through that process, I realized I really do need to be an entrepreneur. Okay. And it's really fun to train teams, but I wanted to do that on my own. So I started my own consulting business about 10 years ago. Okay. 5 years ago, right before COVID started, after I'd had my first baby, I decided to go full-time on my own and started my own consulting company, Think Free Consulting, where we basically help organizations execute major shifts in their company. So I am basically an entrepreneur in residence for them and a professional disruptor. I help them disrupt the status quo and then move forward. And in doing that, I also have helped small businesses scale up on their own, taking idea to scale. Through that process, met my business partner, and we founded the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth is essentially an entrepreneurial ecosystem for underdogs. So what we do is help people go from napkin stage idea all the way to scaling and provide wraparound services, networking, and everything to get there. So this whole process was really the theme of entrepreneurship in my life, and how I could take my genius zone and understand what I do best and helping other people take out their greatness and make it into a business and scale that. And I kind of formed my entire life around that.
Wow. That is quite incredible. I know that a lot of people that I meet throughout the networking channels, 1 Million Cups specifically, a lot of times I'm hearing people say, this was a napkin idea. I just wrote it down and, how could I, I'm just little old me. So it's very valuable that's a resource that you're very familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it takes a lot to take an idea out of your head. Mm-hmm. First of all, there's the whole mindset game of, should I even do this in the first place? Yeah. And then okay, but what will people think, right? And there's a whole personal mindset journey you have to go through to get there before you even start. Yeah. Then it's starting the idea, making sure you meet the right customer, you're marketing it right, meeting all the right people, getting the right funding. Mm-hmm. There's so many rights along the way that have to happen. Sure. And it's kind of hard to do. So that's why at the Commonwealth, we really love helping people get connected to all of those right things.
Yeah, I appreciate that. For myself, I'm pretty new to the podcast scene, and I just think it's so valuable. Just the opportunity each week that I get to visit with people like yourself. Is there something that you do? For myself, I wake up, I acknowledge Jesus, talk to my maker, give myself some words of affirmation, in the mirror, like, you're great, you could do this. Is there any routines or things that you do to get yourself rocketing into the day?
Yeah, absolutely. I spend a lot of time in the morning, a lot of time meaning I'm a mom of a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, so 10 minutes right now in the morning, and then whenever I can throughout the day. Really focusing my mind on what's important. I check in with my spirit. I check in and focus on what I want to do for the day. And then I've also reverse engineered who I want to be in the next few years.
Okay.
And I made a list specifically of what does that person look like? What does a CEO of a $5 million consulting company look like? What does the managing partner of a holding company and also a nonprofit, what do they do on a daily basis?
Yeah.
And I then focus on those activities so that I can show up like that person during the day.
Wow, that's a good note. That's a good idea. I recently was reading a book that was talking about how it was Atomic Habits. It was talking about how if you really want to accomplish a goal, it's usually best to say that you're going to become. So become a writer instead of write a book, or become a runner versus run a marathon, because once you hit that goal, you kind of stop. But it sounds like this is just empowering to you, that once you check off one year onto the next, what is brewing? What's cooking? What's happening in Commonwealth?
So in the Commonwealth right now, we've started one of Nebraska's only incubators. So we are completely fine with you just having an idea in your head and coming into our ecosystem, and we'll take you through a process of a few weeks, meeting with other entrepreneurs, mentors, city organizations, community organizations, and helping you take that into an MVP.
Okay.
So that's really our big launch right now, along with our Next Minds community. Our Next Minds community really focuses on a gap we saw in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, which is that everybody's dealing with the business, but the mindset behind the business is what really determines success. The person behind the business is what determines success too. So if you are in a business and you're starting a business and you have limitations on your mindset, it's going to change how you show up to a business deal, it changes how you show up to networking, if you'll go for the sale or not. So what we do is really focus on stretching people's mindset, helping them become who they truly are inside, and helping them get over limitations. That's what our Next Minds community does. And then recently, we also launched a networking event that kind of is the top of that, of helping people through a Spark session, about 30 minutes. We have someone come in talking about a soft skill or a mindset development piece.
Oh.
There's networking, and they get to really work on and take away some really tangible things, similar to like a 1 million cups, but on a Tuesday night. So that's how we help people in that space.
Okay, fabulous. Yeah, make sure that you chime in at the 1 million cups and put that event on the calendar. It sounds like a fabulous resource.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I appreciate you. Let's circle back to 1-year-old and 5-year-olds.
2 and 5.
2 and 5, okay. What specific things do you do to make sure that you have that work-home life balance that no one's lacking?
Yeah. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that I have to delegate a lot of help to do what I do.
Okay.
I have multiple businesses, multiple things going all at once. So I have learned to delegate things like my grocery shopping. I place an order every week. It's systematized. It shows up. There's a system to make that work so that I don't have to do that mental work. We have a nanny that takes care of the kids during the day. That way I'm able to interact with the kids because they're still at a really young age, and walk out of the office and spend some time with them and then be able to go back to my next meeting. Those are all things that have really helped me be really present in the mom I want to be, the leader I want to be, and the entrepreneur I want to be. And then I just have an amazing supportive husband and a community of people, mentors, coaches, friends who are all really supportive in helping me show up as that person that I'm desiring to be.
Yeah, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. I really appreciate that for my spouse as well. Same kind of idea. So it's good to have good people around you to help catapult you into, like you're saying, the person you should be.
Yeah, and I think you have to be really clear about your boundaries on things and the balance. I like to think of it like a hot stove mentality of like, here's what's important to me right now, and keeping that on the hot stove in the front, well, maybe there's something in the back burner, and moving things around so that the priorities as they shift, I know that I'm still keeping things warm, right? Whether it's life, work, health, wealth, whatever it is that I'm focused on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. How about a newcomer? If someone had that napkin idea, what type of advice would you give to that person?
I think massive and perfect action is the best thing that anybody can do. Taking that action, though, by being curious is the first step. So yes, act, get the feedback from you trying your idea out there and see what happens. But do it not because you have a great idea, but because your idea solves a really great problem that your customer has. When you solve a pain and a problem for a customer, then you start to get into the world of having a business case that actually makes sense. And I think whether you're a person that has that idea or even the corporate teams I work with at Fortune 500 companies, like if a lot of times people just go out there with an idea, they name it what they want, they do it how they want, and then they're confused as why they don't get traction. So ensuring that you're meeting that pain and problem and that you're forming your business around that is super important.
Okay, I appreciate that. If you had a superpower, if you could just pick one superpower, what would it be?
I would be Yoda.
Yoda?
Yes, I think Yoda in Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Is the developer of the greatness in people.
Yeah.
And when I look at the people that I work with, whether it's on the entrepreneurial side with the Commonwealth or the people and leaders I work with on my consulting side of my business, that there is so much potential locked inside of people. And so that's what I'm working towards, is refining that genius zone of helping develop the people that will actually make a difference in the world and helping them have the right mindset, the right heart set to do that.
Yeah, and confidence.
Yes.
I think that, you know, as a little tot, you know, you're walking and you're just taking off and, you know, you fall down and it's like, as soon as you have an adult come and lift you back up, you know, you're back on track. And so has there ever been a time throughout your entrepreneurship where you said, okay, time out, is this for me? Should I just go back to the guarantee? And if you ever had a moment where you thought you're going to clock out, how did you overcome that?
I guess there's always the desire for safety. I think as humans, we long for consistency and safety, and our minds love the status quo. So coming out of a corporate America type of job, there's always that longing for safety. But my desire, the vision I have, the purpose I feel like I'm here for on earth, drives me past that every time. So I have these moments where I might curl up in my bed and be like, oh, I just wish, you know, I could have a paycheck or didn't have to deal with all these problems. But it soon passes because I remember who I am and what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's great advice. I appreciate that. Do you have any events or any, we did mention one just a bit ago, but is there anything coming up for activities or any innovation and anything that's brewing that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so coming up every first and third Tuesday of the month, we have the focus on our networking event. So our community, it's called Commonwealth Tuesdays Builder Hours. And you can come learn from a Spark session speaker on a entrepreneurial development, mindset development. And then also we have our incubator next cohort going to be signing people up for that soon. So it'll start in late October. So we'll start opening up applications for that in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. I think context clues might be able to give it away with the incubator, but could you talk a little bit more on that? If there's somebody who's, you know, they just have that idea on a paper, what is that? What's an incubator? What does that look like?
So an incubator is essentially a process and group of people in a community, like a culture essentially, of helping you take that idea from in your head to really getting traction on it. And so our incubator helps you identify, is this a good business idea and should I even be in business in the first place? Do I have what it takes? And then we go through pain and problem and helping you understand, like, are you solving a real problem? Does this make business sense? How do you market it? How do you sell it? How do you pitch it to people? And then how do you get the funding, the legal setup, all of those things? So we bring in community partners into that to help with that. And we do it at a really, really low cost. A lot of incubators take a percentage of equity or they charge a high amount. We charge $197 because we want you to have some skin in the game as you build this up. So it's incredibly accessible. And from there, we're taking people through a tech track. So if you have a tech-enabled business. We will help you get ready to work with developers, get funding to do that, and then ultimately even go further to scale through our accelerator program.
Okay, I appreciate that. I feel like I've overheard throughout the community, that there are, people that specialize in things kind of similar to what you're doing. But I've just also heard, these are the type of people that, you have to have A, B, and C in place. But you're saying that someone can just call you and just say, hey, help.
Yep, so we are okay if you just have an idea. You don't need to have A, B, and C, because we find from underdogs, like maybe you don't have access to network, maybe you don't have access to those things, maybe you've never even thought about those things.
Yeah.
And part of what our incubator will help you do is learn how to think like an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So that's really the other thing that we do that I don't see a lot of incubators do, which is really the mindset skills and the development of what it actually takes to be a successful entrepreneur is happening in that culture as well.
Okay. Is there any type of personality types or any set skills? Or just really anyone?
It can really be anyone as long as they are committed and willing to go through it. We do have an application process, so we look for indicators of, hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, I just need help, or here's what I've done. Like, those are good indicators that, okay, this person is going to actually put in what it takes, because we're investing our time, and we have successful entrepreneurs and business people coming in to invest their time too.
Yeah.
So we do want to see some of that personal responsibility, and a little bit of that grit that it takes. But ultimately, if you don't have the know-how, we are okay with that.
Wow. I come from a small town, Northwest Missouri. My graduating class was about 30 people. And so to me, growing up, I don't feel like there were a ton of entrepreneurs within that area. You could say like farmers or, construction companies, but very minimal. Do you think that the area that we live in contributes to the amount of entrepreneurs that are currently brewing?
I think so. I also think that we are in a really highly disruptive time. So we're going to see a huge shift in the next 5 years or so of people moving from traditional jobs to more entrepreneurial ventures.
Okay.
So I only see that number going up, especially in rural communities too. People, in order to thrive in the future of work, they need to be able to think like entrepreneurs and potentially look at entrepreneurial ventures as jobs are taken over through automation and AI. So I really see that as a shift that needs to happen too.
Sure. And resources just like this. At home, if you are interested in being on our podcasts, click the link below, reach out. We'd love to have you. If you would like to sponsor, if you would like to get in on helping to highlight the successes and the entrepreneurs that we have in the area, certainly, please click the link below. Northwest Missouri, I got my eyes on a couple of people that, Omaha, I'm going to say this in every episode, I just can't get over it. Are you from the area? Did you grow up here?
Yes.
Yeah. So it really is Omaha to you.
It is. Moved away for a couple of years, but came right back because there's something about Omaha of being a place where entrepreneurship can grow and where great things come out of Omaha. I'm totally convinced of it. Would not move anywhere else at this point.
Yeah. 130 people I grew up with, and I'm across the bridge in Council Bluffs, but I always say that I feel like Council Bluffs and all the locations is really just like Omaha.
Yeah.
It's just a big, small community. Well, is there anything else that you have on your mind that you wanted to chat about today?
I think really just this idea that entrepreneurship is not just about a business venture. I see what you guys are doing, what our entrepreneurial community is doing is super important for everyone. Like I just said, this huge shift that I see coming. So this is not just something, like if you're listening and you are not in a entrepreneurial venture right now, consider listening because of entrepreneurial skills. Like, people need to develop that, and I think that applies to whether you're in a team, in a corporate setting, in a mid-sized business setting, or trying to start up something. So these skills are going to be super important in the future.
Yeah. You know, as I told you, I do work for a small business owner, Linda Miller State Farm, and I have definitely found a lot of, just like you're saying, a lot of tips and resources just to help implement different things inside of the office.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Great resources to have. Well, appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you in a few more networking groups. And I'm going to have to join one of your first and third Tuesdays? First and third Tuesdays. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Again, if you'd like to be a guest or if you would like to help sponsor this, click on the link below and we'll be chatting with you soon. Bye for now.